Hey everyone, it's Jill the Wandering Stamper. Happy Wednesday to you. You might hear a little thunder. It is, of course, raining again, or getting ready to anyways. These little storms that come over the mountains get a little crazy here in Colorado. So I wanted to come to you today and make our very first Halloween card of the season, since we are getting towards that time of the year, and we are going to play with the absolutely adorable Playful Ghosts Stamp Set. It is new in the holiday mini catalog, and it's so cute. It's sweet and simple, and I'm going to show you how to make, I'm going to call it an accordion M fold card. I don't know what it's called, but when you fold it all up, it kind of looks like an M, so sounds good to me. So let me take a moment to turn the camera down and we'll get started. Thanks for joining me. Here are the materials we're going to be using today. I have some Tuxedo Black Memento ink. We have, of course, the Playful Ghost Cling Stamp Set. This is so cute. There's 3 little characters. They're all ghosts dressed up for Halloween. Then you've got 3 sayings and some little background stamps and some pumpkins. So this could be, you could use these pumpkins for some other things, maybe fall. These pumpkins will actually fit in the back of the pickup truck on the trucking along stamps, and also the wagon and the filled with fun or filled with happiness, whatever it's called, the one with the wagon. You could put those pumpkins in there, so you can get some use out of this for fall with using it with some other stamps. So let me show you how to make this card. It is so super cute. Let me pull my cart over. So Stampin' Up did not put any Halloween paper in their mini catalog, but that's fine, because if you start looking through what you have in your paper arsenal, you're going to find paper that will go great with Halloween. So I think that's why they decided not to do it. We do have lots of paper that will fit for a Halloween theme. You just have to kind of look and see what you have. So we're going to be using the Gorgeous Grape, and then I pulled these 2 patterns from the Zany Zoo paper. I had some Zany Zoo left, and I thought this would be a lot of fun, so we're going to use that. And I want to show you, this is another example. This is the Flowering Zinnias Designer Series paper, but look, it's got this beautiful purple plaid piece right here. That's a great pattern for Halloween. Then you've got some of your in-color papers. Those would make great Halloween background colors, and then of course the Full of Life suite has every color in the rainbow, so that's another one you could use for Halloween. So just because there isn't Halloween paper doesn't mean we don't have the ability to make some really cute Halloween cards. And also remember, you can use stamps to create backgrounds for your cards, and you don't even need designer series paper. So let's get started. We're going to start out with our card base, so I'm grabbing my cutter and my Highlander Heather. And I'm going to check and make sure we're in the camera, because sometimes I get out of range a little bit. Let's go up just a little bit. Adjust my camera for you. Okay. All right. So we're going to start out with a base that is 11 inches by 5.5. So I'm taking an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and I'm just cutting that at 5.5, which leaves us a 3-inch piece, which we're going to use in a moment. So I like this card because you use almost all the paper. I'm going to pull my arm out because we are going to need it. Now we're going to do some scoring on that. So we're going to score it at, on the long side, we're going to score it at 1 3/4 inches, and then 3.5 inches, and then 5 1/4 inches, and 7 inches. Pretty easy. All right, I'm going to set that aside, and that 3-inch piece of paper we had left, we're going to cut that 6 inches long. So you've got 1 extra scrap, and then we're going to score it at 3 inches. So we're kind of making a mini card. All right, so we have that. Then you're also going to need 2 pieces of white cardstock that are 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. I've already cut those, so I have 2 of those. And then you're going to need 1 piece that is 3 3/4 by 5 1/4, and that's for the inside. So I've already cut that for you. And then you're going to want to cut your designer series paper. So you want 2 designs, 2 pieces for each design. So we're going to cut those pieces of paper at 1.5 by 5.25. And as I mentioned, you need 2. This is a 12 by 12 piece of paper, so I can get 2 of these on one little strip, which I love. All right, so there's 2. And then I'm going to set this one aside and grab my other pattern, which I thought was fun. And we're going to do the same thing. It's going to be 1.5 inches. Ooh, the wind's kicking up. And then 2, we're cutting 2, so 5.25 times 2. 5.25 and 5.25. All right, so we have 1.5 by 5.25 times 2, 1.5 by 5.25 times 2. That's it for the cutting. And now we're going to go ahead and do some scoring. I am going to tell my husband to bring the awnings in. Jason, can you bring in the awnings? Okay. Awnings and wind do not mix. So when the wind picks up, it's time to bring those awnings in. All right, so now I am just going to fold our base. And it's folded like an accordion. All right, so as you can see, we folded it like an accordion. There's your M. So you're gonna fold it. This is the panel that we're putting the back of we're writing on. This is where our larger piece of white cardstock goes in. So we're just folding those in accordion style. Excuse the noise. That's the awning going in. All right, so let's go ahead and do some gluing. Let me find my silicone craft sheet. So what I'm going to do is decide how I want to lay these designer series papers onto these panels, and I think I'm going to do them this way, just like that. So I'm just going to grab my liquid glue and start applying this on there. This card is so cute, and I think this is going to be my Halloween card that I send out to my friends and family because it's so stinking cute. So I'm just adding liquid glue. And I love how the black and white looks on the purple. It looks very Halloween. Just making sure all my edges are straight and that my paper is facing the correct way. I don't think there's a direction to it, but just got to make sure. The great thing about this card too, it's very simple, the cutting and scoring, so you could mass produce these and make, if you needed to make, you know, I send out probably 20 or 30 cards at the holidays, each holiday, so I could sit and do these really quickly because there's nothing hard about it. It's just layering. All right. Just making sure everything's straight. Okay, so that looks good. So now it's going to fold in like that. We're going to set that aside a moment, and this is our 3 by 6 inch piece that we scored at 3 inches. So that makes a card. Whoops, throwing my bone folder. So I'm giving that a good crease. Now, our card is actually going to go on this way. Woo, there's some thunder. So we're going to set that aside, and now all we have to do is decorate. So let me move this out of the way, and we're going to start out with some pumpkins. Now, this stamp set has 2 little pumpkins. I like to make kind of a little pumpkin pile. So what I did is I stamped the pumpkins on a piece of actually this corner of the scrap paper, and then I just fussy cut them. So I use that for my mask when I'm making a little pile of pumpkins. A little bit bigger stamp, so I'm going to... Now my stamps look weird. Stampin' Up had a problem with the stamp set, and they came out of the factory not centered on the rubber. And I know they're going to be replacing them for me, but I went ahead and went old school Stampin' Up. Do you remember, if you've been stamping for a while, when you had to cut your rubber to fit your stamp and mount it on your wood block? Well, I just took my scissors and trimmed away the excess rubber to fix that for now, because I didn't want to wait to get my new set. I was dying to play with it. But so that's why you may see the stamps and they look kind of odd. That is why. So now that I have this, I want to add some more pumpkins. So I'm going to take this little mask that I made earlier, and I'm just going to lay it right over the 2 pumpkins that I just stamped, and it fits perfectly. And then I'm just going to put my stamp right where I want it and move that. And so now we have a little pumpkin pile. And you can make several of these and put them in a little pyramid. You could do a bigger pile, you can go all the way across, but once you have this, you can just keep using it and make as many pumpkins as you want. So you know what, let's do it again and make one more little pumpkin pile. Why not, right? That will look cute. So I can show you again. So I just make sure my mask is right over it, and then just going to stamp one more set and then move my mask. See? So it looks nice and crisp, and it looks like you used a big stamp when you really didn't. So I did that, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab, there's a stamp that has little bats and stars. So we're going to put that in the sky. And then I've got the cutest little surprise that you're going to see that we're going to put on this card for the main centerpiece of it. So I'm just going to stamp some random little bats in the sky. I'm just going to do 3. I think I'm going to do 3. I like doing 3s. All right. We'll move that aside. And now we're going to close this for a moment and do some quick coloring. So I've grabbed my pumpkin pie, my light and my dark shade of pumpkin pie. And I'm going to show you really quickly how easy these alcohol markers are. These Stampin' Blends are to color with. I love it. I just take my brush tip, and you barely have to press down on these. And it does spread, so even if you don't go all the way to the edge of the paper, it's okay. It still looks phenomenal. So I am going to color these in real quick. Okay, so now that I have my base, I'm going to give it a second to dry a little bit. I'm going to go ahead in with some Mossy Meadow and just lightly color in the little pumpkin stems and leaves. And I'm not doing any shading with those, I'm just going to color them in. All right, now I gave it a second, so I'm going to go back over it with the dark pumpkin pie, and all I'm doing is I'm just going to draw over the inside lines of the pumpkin, not the outsides, just the insides. I feel like that's all it needs. And then the magic will happen in a moment. Here comes the rain. Hopefully we don't have hail. Get a lot of hail in Colorado, and it gets a little noisy in an RV, so I apologize if that happens. All right, so we're going to pretend we gave this about a minute, and I'm just going to start down here. And all I'm doing is going back over it with the light pumpkin pie and just dragging that color together. That way you get the shading, but no harsh lines. So that's the beauty of these markers. I can't live without them now. They make you look like you are an artist when you color. And I love that. You can really spend some time using these and really create some beautiful coloring. So as you can see, that just adds a little bit extra detail. So that looks really nice. I'm going to leave that alone, and I'm going to grab some Wink of Stella. It's one of my favorite little embellishments I'm going to add a little bit of clear Wink of Stella to these bats to give them a little shimmer, so they're not so plain. I love Wink of Stella. I use so much of it. All right, we're going to set that aside because I'm going to show you. Well, I guess we don't really have to set it aside. So earlier I came on, or before I came on, I stamped this little ghost, this dressed up as a witch, and it has its little broomstick. So I went ahead and stamped him and colored him with the same colors that are in our card base. So we've got some Highlander, or some gorgeous grape. We've got some pecan pie on the broom, some black, some Daffodil Delight, and then a little gray for the patch on its hat. So I went ahead and colored it all in. I Wink of Stella the ghost to give him a little shimmer because he's a ghost. And now we're going to apply this to our card. But the reason I did it this way is because I love these little wobbles. These are not a Stampin' Up! Product. I do have it linked in my craft room must-haves, but there are these little springs, and they are adhesive. So what you do is grab the thinner piece, which is the part that goes on your stamp or on your stamped image, and you just take off the sticky part. I usually just flip it upside down, decide where I want it, stick it on there, and then on the back it's more solid. That's what goes to your cardstock, or at least that's how I do it. It seems like that's the way it should go. And then you just pull off that sticky backing, which I'm using my Take Your Pick tool for. And then all you have to do is pop it on your card. So we're going to have it flying right over these little pumpkins, just like this. And look, isn't that cute? So adorable. So he is going to go right here on our little card base. And remember, it's going to go on our card this way, so it opens that way. So make sure you make sure you open it the correct way. So I'm going to go ahead and add some liquid glue to the back. It's so cute. And I'm just going to pop this on. Just like that. I'm going to lose my little mask. I'll go put that back in the box. I keep the little masks I make in the box, so when you make your little pumpkin mask, just put it back in your stamp case so you have it for the next time you want it. Now I already went ahead and did my second panel, and all I did was carry those pumpkins back over to this side with the bats, and then added Trick or Treat to the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and add that on there. This card is so cute and it's so simple to make, and if you enjoy stamping and coloring, it's very therapeutic to just sit here and do this. I will just play music and stamp away. So that is our inside. So we're going to set that aside, and now we have our, what I call my inside base, where I'm going to put write my message to whoever is lucky enough to get this card. And I'm just going to simply add the words Happy Halloween. So I'm going to, I thought I stamped it, but I didn't. I meant to stamp it ahead of time. If you saw my recent video, I had a really hard time getting things straight. So, oh, let me give you a tip on this before I do this. So what I like to do is lay my card where I think it's going to go on this card, on this base, and I close it up, and then I lay this kind of in place. So I know my card is going to close about like that. So I'll take my pencil and very lightly add a little line. So now I know exactly where to stamp my words so that they show up when the card's closed. And I'm pulling this out of the way for a second so I can stamp this. Okay, I did not want to get this crooked like I did last time, so close up my stamp pad. So now that we stamped that, I just go ahead and erase my little lines. This pencil's really good at erasing, so you don't have to worry about it showing. So now I'm just going to simply put some liquid glue on the back and pop this down. You could actually, even if you wanted to, make a layer of black cardstock to go behind this if you wanted to. Just make this a little bit tinier, and that would totally work. All right, so now to put this on, I know that my card is going to go just about right there. So I'm going to, I kind of know not to put my glue more than 3/4 of an inch or so into the card. So that's plenty. So what I'll do is close this up and kind of get everything where it's supposed to go, and then push it down. Get it nice and straight. All right, give it a good press, and then I'll open this up and add the glue to the top. And if you're using Stampin' Seal, that's fine too. That works really well. You just want to make sure you don't go too far with the glue. So now I'm going to push that down, give it a good press, make sure everything's straight, looks good. And I think all we need to do is to add some embellishments. So I was looking around at what I could put on here that would be different, and this is some iridescent faceted gems that I have, and they kind of pull in lots of purple and orange, and they just kind of pull in all the colors. So I decided that I will use those. I think they might have been a Christmas. I'm not sure exactly what they went to, but they look really pretty on this card. So look at your embellishments and see what's going to work for your card. You might be surprised at what you come up with. So there we go. There is our card. Look how cute. So it opens up like this, and it says Trick or Treat. And it displays very nicely. You get to see all of the fun little layers you made. You can write right on this whole panel or right in the middle if you want. But I love how Halloween still shows, so when the card's closed, you get everything. So there's that card. Now I wanted to show you what you can do using other things. So here is one I used with the Full of Life, and I used a different stamp. This is the little pumpkin ghost, and I made a little tag that said boo and popped that on with dimensionals. The pumpkins and the bats are just the same, and I added that wink of Stella to the ghost. And then it opens up and says Happy Halloween and Trick or Treat, and then I used some gems. I don't remember what those are called, but I will put them in my blog. But they looked really pretty, and they pulled in the yellow that's in the paper. So that's the Full of Life Designer Series paper, and I was able to grab that and make that look kind of like Halloween. So there's sample number 2. And then our last sample, I pulled in some Petunia Pop. This is from the this is from the 2024 2026 in color 6x6 Designer Series paper. So that Petunia Pop against the black looked kind of cool, and it worked great for our little Dracula ghost. So I pulled in the Petunia Pop and colored his little cape in with that, gave him his wink of Stella as well as the bats, and I added the little flying ghost to the inside because I think they're friends. And it says boo. And then I used some more embellishments in Petunia Pop. So I was able to create 3 adorable Halloween cards, even though I didn't have any Halloween Designer Series paper. So there you go. There is the Accordion M-Fold. Super easy. Don't forget to go down, click on the link to get to my blog. I will have all of the cutting and scoring and assembly instructions there. I'll also list the colors and the materials that I use for each of these samples. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you get a notification every Wednesday when my video comes on. I hope you have a fabulous fall. I hope you start getting into the Halloween spirit soon, and I will see you next Wednesday. Have a great day and happy crafting. Bye.